Very good day everybody, and welcome to another video. This is your personal funky sim pilot. My name is Arkady Gidzenko, and I will be your captain for today's flight. Today's flight will take us back to the PMDG airplanes. This time it's the Boeing 737-600, and we're using the Lauda Air livery. This was actually a very old livery. A little bit more about that later. For a short flight from Innsbruck in Austria to Budapest in Hungary. The estimated airtime will be 1 hour, so it will be a very short flight indeed. So the Lauda Air original Austrian airline was actually, I believe it was actually created by, or founded by Niki Lauda, the old Formula driver. I don't know a lot more about this aircraft or about the company, but here it is. I do remember his name, so that's a good thing. So let's just get into it. We're using GSX, Airsoft Simple Traffic Tool. We're using real world time and real world weather. And we're actually also using Volanta, and let me actually put the link to this flight in the chat. Stand by 1 second while I do that. Then we'll get into it and we'll prepare. There, it's in the chat now. Right. So let's hop on in. We got the overlay by Volanta as well to sort of keep track of what we're doing. So yeah, it's an interesting airline, Lauda. They no longer exist, not as such, at least in any case. But yeah, founded by Niki Lauda, the famous old Formula driver from Austria. Founded this Lauda Air back in the day. It's quite old, but they're no longer flying. There are some changes, but here we are at the Innsbruck airport. There's a very high terrain around the airport, so I'm not really sure what the departure is going to be like, but very likely we'll do fine in this aircraft. So I guess we'll see. So let's hop on in. So we should have the ground power unit connected now. Let's see, ground connections. Ground power units connected. So we can start up the plane. We'll start the batteries first. And the inertial reference system. And then our ground power. And logo lights and anti-collision lights. And that's what we will start with for now. Get some main panel lights going. And some background. And AFTS floodlights. Let's do the same for the center pedestal. And while we're down here, why not set the squawk code? And we'll keep it at transponder. Not sure about the gate number where we are at. I believe it was 6, but not 100% sure. Doesn't say anything here. Well, it's okay too. We'll just use this. Then we will request our route. So they're saying block fuel 5.5, reserves 2.3, that seems about okay. Nonetheless, let's just double check it in any case. Cost index 20, cruising 350, wind 305019er. Block fuel 5.5 and 2.3 on the final reserves. So we can set both payload and the fuel, select the route. And let's also start the boarding and let's see who finishes earlier. I believe the passengers will finish before us because boarding.
Requested. Do you want to board crew?
Yes, both please.
Crew bus is coming.
Dynamite. So load it up. It's lagging there for a second. Activate and execute.
Pilot's boarding starting.
So this is our route. So let's go departure and arrival. So for the departure we have departure runway 08 with the, I'm not sure what it stands for, RTT2 Quebec.
Crew boarding starting.
RTT2 Quebec. Can execute that. And we'll be landing. Let's take here 3-1 right with the VAJDI 2 hotel. 3-1 right, so let's actually have a look at the weather. See if that makes sense. 150, 180 to 11. Wind 180.
Bus is coming.
So we should rather use runway 13 left or 13 right, I would think. Let's do 13 left. We can also just take off like this and then we'll change that once we're flying. We do have about 1 hour of airtime, so that's about 20 minutes of cruise, more or less. That should be sufficient for us. It's 29 degrees in Hungary, Budapest. But yeah, let's set it up immediately for the correct one, I guess. So ILS 13 right or left.
Passengers boarding.
Here we got the apron. Let's do 13 right. ILS 13 right. And then we will get a different approach probably. The one that we were given was VAJDI 2 hotel. We cannot use this one. So we open the airport and we look for procedures. And we're looking for procedures for runway 13 right. We're coming from left. So for instance, Gillette to Juliet.
Hello.
That is not here. Why not? 13 right.
Hello.
I'm looking at departures. My bad. Arrivals. So VAJDI 2 Tango. We could still have the VAJDI, but it will be the 2 Tango. That's cool. And let's just execute it like this. So now we should have the entire flight plan in here, and there's vectors at some point. That's cool. Okay, so back to route. Performance initialization. So fuel, we can say 5.6. And I believe we're at 2.3 on the reserve fuel. 2.3. And then we're having cost index 20, cruising 350, and then wind 305 at 019er. So cost index 20, cruising 350. Cruising wind will be 305 at 19er. Knots. Transition altitude 10,000 feet. Very likely that is correct. Let's just double check. Transition altitude 10,000. So we can execute N1 limit, and then we'll head to the performance tool. So departing runway 08.
This way, please.
Giving us takeoff at 47 degrees. Which is giving us 88.7 on the N1. And here it's giving us 88. That's sometimes there's a discrepancy. Trim, basically 5, 126, 127, 131. And we have a flap 1 takeoff. Takeoff, flap 1. Trim will be 5, 126, 127, 131. And the runway length remaining will be 65. So that sets, that is basically the MCDU or the CDU, the FNC setup. The passengers are still boarding. We've got some other things we need to do. Let's see, the aircraft has found its position, so let's turn on flight director on both sides. Now open up the fuel pumps. Let's start up our APU.
Hello. Good afternoon.
YODEP.
May I see your boarding pass?
So our current altitude here is 1900 feet. So just in case we need to return to the airport, we'll set this to 1900 for the landing altitude.
Welcome on board.
See, the APU is coming. Do have fuel on board now. But let's change these settings. This looks weird. I don't like that.
This way.
First thing, when you load up a new livery, like we did now with the Lauda Air, it sort of defaults to whatever it came with. So yeah, we're just going to change that.
May I see your boarding pass?
Turn to menu, PMDG setup, aircraft, displays, and then I believe it is
This way.
fuel total display, yes. That's this one, and it is on kilograms, so that's cool. So we have kilograms 5,500 on board. We turn on the seatbelt sign. APU is running as well. Boarding has been completed. No smoking sign. APU bleed will be turned on. And we can start, we can get going. So first we go to APU. Then we can disconnect the ground power up here on the overhead. And then we'll request a disconnect from the ground. So release ground power, please. I think everything looks fine. The doors are still open. Sometimes they close automatically, sometimes they don't. I lose track. I don't know. Let's turn on traffic on our navigational display. I think we're pretty much good to go. We can arm the auto thrust. We'll put speed 250 knots in the speed window. We'll turn on vertical navigation, lateral navigation, and then we'll set our cruising altitude, which is flight level 350. We do need to trim 5.5, although it was a trim of 5, I believe. Trim is 5, so let's request a pushback. Maybe before we do that, quickly have a look. Flights, so we have departing runway 08. We're parked at this end, so we'll need to Bravo 1, that will be Alpha, getting us onto the runway. And we might actually, well, maybe it's not a very long runway, so let's go all the way to the end, I guess. Let's set the parking brake, or that actually is set. That's very good. Well, let's get out of here. Now you get this game again where it's saying close doors. Sometimes it closes themselves automatically. So let's just be a fool and go to door management. Say close all. Go ground maintenance. No, ground connections. Remove chocks. I thought the parking brakes were set. Oh, I missaw.
Departure
Sorry.
check completed. Bypass pin inserted.
There go our doors and the air stairs. The pushback, there's actually not really a pushback, look. We cannot, there's nowhere to go, so we'll probably just arrive. So let's just abort the pushback then. It's a shame because I do like the procedure, it's nice, it's immersive. Interrupt pushback, yes.
Locking here.
Come on, GSX, you can do it. Okay. GSX doesn't want to load. We don't have to abort or anything. That's it. Very good. So let's start up our engines. Engine number 2. Fuel. Pretty cool that Nicky Lauda had his own airline company with his name written on it in big red letters. I remember that man suffered a very poor accident, very bad accident while driving. Engine number 1. EGT is actually still rising on the second engine there, but it looks stable. Fuel. Turn on our CCAS. So our departure. There is a lot of terrain around us. What will our departure be? Basically, let's see. Got some speed constraints here. Oh, that's Rattenberg, okay. Alright, we have 2 running engines. So we go to main generators. We can now turn off the APU. APU bleed can come off and we'll turn on the packs. And landing, runway turn off lights, taxi lights will be turned on. And we'll set our flaps to 1 and auto brake to reject the takeoff. And then we should be clear to go. We have verified takeoff speeds message, so 126 V1, rotate 127 V2 131. Next page, and parking brake released. Let's get going. So that's the tight fit here, look at that. Absolutely beautiful area, man, to be taking over landing from. Full gas on Innsbruck. So we'll need to backtrack a little bit on the runway. What the hell was that? This definitely appears to be going cop slope. But we have 2 insanely powerful engines, so we can easily do that. Let's turn on our landing lights and position probe and steady. not making that in time. That's what you get with this simulator, you know, you have to zoom in and then get the correct angle. And then before you know it, you've been taxiing too far and you're running over a little duck or a rabbit. Cabin crew, prepare for departure. I think we got away with that, look at that. So I think everything else is okay. Let's see the before takeoff checklist. Flaps, green light, stabilizer trim. So it's trimmed at 5. Flaps 1. Okay, we got our landing lights. We just need to turn off the packs for takeoff. Then we will start the clock. And then takeoff thrust. Let's get going.
Airspeed's alive. Knots. Lead 1 take. Lead 2. Positive rate of climb.
Gear up.
Terrain. Pull up. Terrain.
Well, immediately get terrain warning here. So I guess that is why the terrain inhibits ground proximity warning system. Ground proximity, there's some inhibits there. Let's not go too crazy on our pitch. So now the nose goes down a little bit and we'll accelerate. Let's turn on the autopilot. Let the autopilot take over, PMD. Only turn off lights, taxi lights can be turned off. Let's turn on the packs. Beautiful. Back inside. So with speed limit here of 180 knots, and the aircraft is holding, keeping that. There's some clouds up ahead. Let's turn on the weather radar to see if there's any rain anywhere. There is some, but it's not on our route yet. transition altitude, standard pressure. So the after takeoff checklist. Engine bleeds on, backs to auto, we just did that. Landing gear up and off, landing gear is up, not off. We cannot retract the flaps just yet. We're now on our way to Whiskey India 522, speed 282, so we can now start accelerating. And there goes our speed, going up, so flaps up. And that would be flaps up, no lights. So that's the takeoff checklist complete, or after takeoff checklist. So here we are then, on the way. Alright, back to the flight deck. Maybe we should turn on the anti-ice fluid alarm, just to be sure. Alright, so we're climbing 18,700 feet, and the descent, top of descent, 205 nautical miles. That is at 1344, so that's in 30 minutes. We'll touch down in about 1 hour, I think, maybe a little less. 1409. Yeah, it's a little less than 1 hour. See if the weather has changed at our location, because we were given a landing runway in the opposite direction. Then once we checked the weather for ourselves, even before we entered our runway, we could see that there was a different wind. So they do now have 210 at 10 knots. So runway 31 we had, I believe. Getting confused now. We're now at runway 13. The wind from 210. That's basically a crosswind anyway. In that sense, it doesn't matter which runway you take. Okay. So let's prepare for the arrival. Runway 13 right. We copy it, go to our fixed page, and we put it in there. Then we'll create 2 rings. We're using 13 right, maybe we can change it in here as well. That would be cool. Rifles available. VAJDI 2 Tango, we'll add that to the route. Approach is available. Let's just go to the approach, basically to the chart. So 13 right. That will be ILS, this one. So we now have the VAJDI 2 Tango arrival. We'll be coming in from VAJDI. Then Joseph, Budapest 723, 733, 743, so it's taking us to Ekman. There's Ekman. So I guess we could just continue on to Katus. So do we have that? Back to the legs page. Doesn't take us to Katus, that's not in there. We do have Bravo Papa 755, that's this one. Oh, this is Katus. Also, this is perfect, this is what we need. So we can just join these two. And you can see right here, so that should work out fine. So we can do that. Let's first put a range link around the runway to have a little bit better overview. So fixed page. So we have 110.5, 127 degrees. So the glide slope will take us down 3,500 feet at 9.6 nautical miles from SER. That is our ILS, our localizer. So 9.6. Reciprocal 307. So radio 307, this will ensure that we'll get a line into the opposite direction, the direction that we are coming from. And then 9.6 nautical miles. That's the point where the glide slope will take us down. So now we can see this is a little bit close, but we could maybe make it. Otherwise, we'll actually just do vectors. 307. Let's also put in 15 miles. 307 at 15. So that BP 755 is right within the 15-mile mark. It's not necessarily a big problem, but it might be cutting it a little bit short. So we could maybe experiment again and add like 2 waypoints. So for instance, if we go to legs page, we can create a waypoint out of each of those 2 waypoints. So we have Bravo Papa 755 and we have Ekman. We select Ekman, that would be a heading of 307. We can continue on that heading. 307, and let's continue for instance for another 15 nautical miles. And we put that at vectors. Can we zoom out and then see it maybe? And it creates this waypoint right there. There's a light on that line. So we can just execute that. And then we can do the same for Bravo Papa 755. We copy it. That will also be in the direction V07. And it will also be 15 miles. And that wants to make a little turn there, as you can see. So we just execute. And we join these two together, execute. And now, as you can see, this is looking very neat, giving us a little bit more space and time. So that's been set up. Right, so we're at, arriving at our cruising altitude. There is some weather ahead, but nothing too crazy. So to continue setting up, let's have a look. ILS DME for Foxtrot Echo Romeo. So that should be ILS runway 13 right, Budapest, Hungary. 110.5. Not there. 110.5, that's actually set. That's a coincidence, but it's there. And then final approach course was 127, 127 degrees. We'll have to put this in the course window. So 127 on this side, and on the FO side, 127. So that we're pretty much prepared for our approach. Might be a little early to see what's our fuel, 4.1 inlet ref. We can at least start setting something. So we got flaps 40 at 125 knots, plus 5 130 knots, and it should also be in the backspage. 130, 130. I don't think we ever set our passengers free, so let's do that now. .14 is when we will arrive. Ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck, this is your captain speaking. Now we have turned off the seatbelt signs. You may feel free to roam around the aircraft. But in case you are not doing it, please remain in your seat and just keep your seatbelt fastened at all times. We are expected to touch down at Budapest Airport in about 40 minutes from now, so we will start our descent in approximately 20 minutes or so. On behalf of Lauda Air and the entire crew, thank you for your attention. Okay, so top of descent at 13:47, that's in 20 minutes. You can get some descent forecast, the winds. Have a look outside. Also a little bit of a stutter there. We can turn off the anti-ice. And we'll get a little more bang for our buck with our engines. FMC speed reset, forecast uplink ready. Load. Execute. So it's saying here, oh, that's gone. Flight management. Okay, never mind. Good then. Next page. See if the weather is changing at all. So 1300 Zulu. This is the latest report. The altitude to descend to should be 3,500 feet. And I guess we can dial that in now. to descend to 86 pounds. What's really nice about the 737 600 and 700 is the FMC. You have these buttons here: climb, cruise, and descent. Like on the 777, you will have like one nav button and one performance button, and this performance button basically has like 3 tabs with climb, cruise, and descent. So that also works. But it's very convenient to just, I don't know, be wherever you are, 6-page menu, legs, whatever. Just bam, you hit descent, and you get your descent information. It's very, very convenient. I'm liking that a lot. 81 miles to go. Alright, that's enough of that. I think I hurt my nipple with my guitar. Top of the set, a little over 40 miles. And the thrust speed down, 124. So let's just update that. So the Lauda Air was Lauda Air Luftfahrt GmbH, was branded as Lauda Air. Was an Austrian charter airline. This is pulling this from Wiki, obviously. I do not know this information off the top of my head. Headquarters Vienna Airport in Schwechat. It was owned by Lauda, who died in 2019. During much of its existence, planned to become like a charter airline subsidiary for leisure operations of Austrian Airlines. On April 6, 2013, Lauda Air ceased to exist. It was then replaced by Austrian My Holiday, a new brand name that's used for flights of leisure offers provided by Austrian Airlines. So this ceased, here it says 1st of July 2012, there it says, yeah, okay. It was founded April 79. Top of descent, 23 miles. So there's the top of the set. Then we get OGVUN, VAJDI, shows up. And then we do the left turn. Maybe we can zoom in one more step. Shows up Bravo Papa 723. 744. And Ekman, and then from Ekman we could theory go straight there. The glide slope will only start there. So maybe, I don't know, 50 miles might be a bit far. So what if we delete? Let's have a look here. Oh, there's still vectors there. That's for the go around. No. ECN01, BBP701, 755. Oh, did we delete the original one? No. Did we? Let's keep it like this. It's okay. So this might be a little bit long. I'm not really sure. I mean, yeah, 20 miles would probably be okay as well. Sounds like top of descent. A little bit low. Let's start recording Skydome. See if there's a weather update. 1300 Zulu. 1313 Zulu 2109 knots. Bearing 180250. Cavalcade 29 degrees, QNH 1017. That's pre-dial 1017. So our descent checklist, landing altitude. Position altitude 10,000, airport elevation 500 feet. Runway is at 550. We'll put off 550. Recall, let's check our recall. Nothing requires our attention. Auto brake, it's a shortish runway, I believe. Runway 13 right. It's not too short or anything, but it's not definitely not long, one of the longest ones. 9,000, that's more, really more than enough. And where are the exits? We could just use the entire runway unless we need to exit to the left. Let's have a look at the other chart here. Hangar cargo, yeah, so we need to go to the left. So either exit Juliet 4, I think, onto Bravo 2. Or we go to that far end. Okay. So auto brake. Let's just go auto brake 2. That's been set as well. Landing at the VRF and minimums. The minimums we did not set, but for the rest I think we do have everything. So runway 13 right. The minimums we can have a look down here. And we can just go for 50 feet. I think we can with this aircraft, 50 feet should be fine. And so that at 50, so that's cool. We have 110.5 at 127 degrees. 110.5 at 127 degrees. That's checked. Ref speed is now 124. That's still 124. And I think we have everything there. An approach briefing has been completed as well. So then up next will be the approach checklist, which is to switch over to local pressure at 10,000 feet. Time is 13:52. ETA is 14:14. Getting a little bit high on the descent. I don't like using this with my mouth. It's either just totally on or totally off. I don't think you can actually drag it or just feels really weird. But it does something for sure. Let's go all out. Let's turn on the seatbelt sign. Ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck, this is your captain speaking. We have started our descent to Budapest Airport. Please return to your seat and make sure that your seatbelts are securely fastened. We expect to arrive in approximately 20 minutes from now. The local temperature of Budapest airport will be 29 degrees. It looks to be a windy day, but it looks like you have clear skies. On behalf of Lauda Air and the entire crew, thank you for your attention. Let's keep it coming down now. So if you compare this to the RJ100 we were flying this morning, this just flies like a joy. You have like so many options in your navigational display. It's clear, it's big. The other navigational display in that aircraft is like this, like really small, with a really big font. So the letters are a lot bigger. So the Joseph that you see there would be like twice or three times its size, and then making it extremely hard to read. You have to zoom in all the way, and that kills all your situational awareness. It's not undoable, you know, it's definitely doable, but it's not optimal. Still a little bit high there. The aircraft is not complaining. So pretty much flying straight to the airport. There is our runway that followed the green link. So we have DME already, 20.5. We're basically on top of the airport, because we also need to go down. There's the airport. And that will be our runway, if I'm reading this correctly. And if not, we'll just get lost at Antarctica, you know? Okay, so touchdown in about 18 minutes. Let's get our speed brakes out for a little while. Do not need a lot, but just to stay, not to lag too much behind, you know? We're now 47 minutes into the flight, 48. On our way to BP 733. knots or below, and then 743, so we're turning now. Flight level 161, 230 knots or below, so we're a little bit fast. Do we have a weather report? I don't think so. No. 1017 still actual. So 10,000 feet, we'll turn on the landing lights and then we will switch over from standard pressure to local pressure. To one we pre-dialed there. We're now at 1013, which is standard barometric pressure. So there's the airport. A little bit low on the profile. Check our rest speed, that's still 124. So this looks like a very clean approach, especially since we put these two extra waypoints all the way up here. It's probably a little bit far. So 15,000 feet. So this ring is where we'll be flying this direction, taking a right turn and fly down. This ring is 9.6 nautical miles. That's where the glide slope will take us down at 3,500 feet. Ackman, speed 230 knots or below. That's we're already there. think a little bit high here, so let's get some speed brakes. Ten 10,000 feet coming up. Let's switch to standard pressure. Let's maybe first check the or to local pressure, I should say. 1330. There's no update yet. Okay. Let's go to local pressure. It's putting us a little high again, so we keep the speed brakes extended. Are they fully extended? Let's see. Fuel 3.1. Zero speed still 124. Okay. We're below 10,000. Let's turn on the landing lights. Start our APU. And we can actually also put the engine start switches to continuous relay. Okay, speed brakes are retracted. Let's arm the localizer. We don't have DME yet, so it probably won't be intercepted anytime before that. But at least it's armed. So like any decent ADHD pilot, this is the perfect time to start rolling a cigarette. When you're pretty much on, I don't know, pre-final. So localizer armed but not yet captured. We're aiming for an altitude of 3,500 feet. And we may need a little bit of speed brake. Let's just do that. But like this, we're pretty much lined up. There's a localizer capture. Now just get ourselves down a little bit more. We'll probably still have the crosswind from the right. Let's see, 1330. smell of that yet, so yeah. Speed brake retracted. We're 23 miles from the localizer. That's our runway. That's the glide slope, so let's arm the approach. Range 20 miles. Yeah, let's turn on the runway turn-off lights and the taxi lights. Speed targeting 200. Brake required. Let's get speed brakes out. Speed brakes in. Glide slope capture. Flaps 1. Let's go flaps 1 speed. 174. Range 14.4 miles. That is the city of Budapest.
Traffic. Traffic. Climb. Crossing. Climb. Climb. Crossing.
Oh, we're not doing this.
Climb. Climb.
There's a whiz out. There's another aircraft, look at that. Madness, I say. Alright, let's stay focused. 11.7 miles.
Traffic. Traffic.
Flaps 2.
Traffic.
We should be speed 129, it's basically up next. Flaps 5. We go flap 5 speed, 154. I'm trying to check the inner traf. Yeah, we're still at 124 knots.
Traffic. Traffic.
So there's a whiz air in front of us. That's quite annoying. I wish I could just make them disappear when we're landing.
$2,500.
7.4, let's drop our gear. definitely windy. Flaps 15. Let's go full flaps and go final approach speed. About 129. Come on, let's turn off the autopilot. Keep going down. There's our runway.
Approaching minimums. 100. Minimums. 50.
Idle.
30. 20. 10.
Touchdown. Nose good touchdown. Welcome to Budapest, everybody. Reverse it out. Knots. No, we exit to the left. Flaps up. Bit of a shame, the aircraft in front of us. Well, that's what you get, the Microsoft Flight Simulator. You know, sometimes when I'm making these landing replay videos, then I put my camera somewhere in the field, I point it at my airplane, and then there's like 4 aircraft on approach. Sometimes 2 of them are joined together. They're sort of like in each other's, they're morphed together. It's horrendous. But here shears now the PMDG 757-600 with the Lauda Air delivery. That was founded in 79 by Nicky Lauda. And I don't know if you noticed, but I totally forgot to arm the ground spoilers. But braking went perfectly fine, there was no problem there. having a bit of a spotty frame rate here. Not sure how this works with the line. I'm getting some really bad frame rates outside. But this will be our gate. Alright, we'll stop. Parking brake. So once again, welcome to Budapest, everybody. That was the PMDG 757-600 again, this time with the Lauda air delivery. Right man, thank you very much for checking, it's always super appreciated. So thanks again, and I will see you at the next video. Have a very good day, bye bye.